Righto, so as you can see in front of you, I have black twill tape and have no idea why black came, so instead of mailing it back and swapping it out for white, ivory or a cream colour, I thought I would just snip the end off and do a little bleach test, and I'm glad I did, because there we go, most definitely a much better contrast. So yeah, going to put all this in a bowl of bleach and hopefully be good to go then. Righto, let's see. Okay, it's come out a little bit more kind of peachy, but it is a whole bunch better than it being black. And it's going to leave that in a little bit longer, because in other places it is a little bit lighter than some of the darker parts there. Righty-ho, you can see fabric. Yep. And this is 100% cotton, and it is bed sheets. And yeah, a little while ago my friend took me to some thrift stores, and yeah, that day is really great because lucked out awesome, because it's just seen that every thrift store that we went to I could pick up a whole bunch of bed sheets. And yeah, so this is the very first part of the journey into me making my gown dress for the dressmaker's ball. And yeah, I have 8 days. It's currently September 22nd, and yeah, life has thrown so many curveballs right now and had to kind of prioritize things, and sometimes you're just not in the mind to do other things. And yeah, so 8 days, that should be enough time, fingers crossed. And yeah, so let's go. Righty, now I am just going to give you a really teeny tiny sneak peek. So as you can clearly see, the pattern is a vintage style pattern. I am also hoping that the pattern pieces and everything inside is all complete, or I am going to have to do extra work. It is kind of, yeah, the envelope does suggest that everything is there because it is so kind of fat with all the pieces. However, that said, it has been used, so you know what it's like when you kind of put all the tissue paper back. It sometimes is a whole bunch larger, and then trying to kind of wiggle it back into the envelope. Yeah, so I am now going to check, and I am crossing absolutely everything that everything is complete. Okay, I have pulled out the pattern pieces. A lot of them are still folded, and there are some smaller pieces over there, and there's quite a few. Yeah, and these pieces are huge. So I am so glad that I managed to pick up a whole bunch of yardage of fabric, because yeah, I am definitely going to need it. And as you can see, it is also a really hot sunny day today, and yeah, which is always awesome. So to get the light and everything like that, and yeah, just I suppose it just kind of makes everything just a little bit happier, isn't it, when the sun is shining. Okay, I have the mannequin out, and yeah, just kind of played around with the sizing and everything. And what I am going to do is kind of something to fill all these spaces here, because yeah, that is not really going to help when I come to all the fittings. So yeah, I'll try and get some card or something in place in all those gaps, and hopefully be able to do something. If not, I'm just going to have to improvise with something else, and I might even make kind of a little stretchy satiny top to go over that, and then it kind of be snug, and then anything that I put for garment placement, it will just then slip down and kind of just go over and cover the mannequin better than the fabric. As you can see here, it's just kind of a bit yeah. And also I just had to put some scotch tape all along the neck, because one of them, which this one, kind of just pings out the top there. The other three are okay. Also, as you can see there, these are the skirt pieces, and I have laid them on top. There are 4 in all, and then you would lay them on the fabric on the fold, so you would actually end up having 8 pieces. And because they are pretty much the same size, I'm actually thinking, what is the point in cutting out all these panels? I need to stitch them back together again. I might as well just use the roll of fabric and just pull it out to the length that is required, and also that way there will not be any stitching lines. I will double check, or triple check actually, I've already double checked, and yeah, there's no reason for me to not be able to do that, apart from the zipper, which is fine anyway, because on some of the other dresses I have eliminated the back seam and then just got a pair of scissors and then just cut that out separately, and then just modified with the seam allowance and everything for a zipper, because yes, this needs a zipper as well. And yeah, I think that is what I'm going to do. It will save a lot of time, and it will save a lot of pain for me having to cut all those out individually. And yeah, if I can kind of save a few steps, I think that's good to go really on that. Okay, this is really strange, and kind of putting duct tape around a mannequin. Yeah, however, I have filled all the gaps, and to be fair, it's actually quite strong. I am going to have to put something over this, so obviously it does not catch any of the little bits here and kind of just pull when I am putting the garment on here. But yeah, oh my goodness guys, it feels really strange doing this. Okay, so in the end I decided to cover the entire mannequin in the duct tape, and yeah, because it's smooth as well, and as long as I have covered all the edges, then none of the tape will actually kind of lift as I am putting the garment either on or off of the mannequin. And yeah, so yeah, there we go. It just looks very strange, I know, as long as it does the job. Righty-ho, so far the body is as you can see here, and yeah, it was actually really quite large. I had to take out a couple inches, and yeah, I still may need to take a little bit out. However, I am not going to do that right now, because the simple reason, by the time I line this and bone it, it will probably decrease a little bit. Not entirely sure if I'm going to add a little bit of length in the bodies. To be fair with everything, I do have to lengthen everything, and it's better to have something a little bit longer, so then you can actually take away, as opposed to shorter and then yeah, not good. And I may put some straps on here. The pattern does not require that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and just kind of just makes me feel a little bit more, you know, held in. I know with the boning in and everything, it's going to make everything a lot more structured. And yeah, I would probably, I'm going to put some ribbon on, and then when the kind of front gets added on across sort of the front body sash, I guess, then I can kind of attach that to the straps, because it will just go over and go on the very tippy end of the shoulders, and I do not really want anything scandalous kind of falling off, so just having that little bit of extra security, I'm going to do that. So yeah, that is where I am at now with this. Okay, now the really scary part. And yeah, so here are my fabrics. So I have a ivory kind of silky satin here, and then the other one is a white chiffon to kind of have an overlay on the main skirt, and also a little bit of overlay on the bodice. Okay, so I have brought it out into the conservatory, and you can see the movement. So it is slightly semi-structured, but not too much that you do not lose even the movement. And yeah, it is kind of coming up white out here because it's so bright, but it is kind of an ivory colour there. Righty-ho, so this is the main fabric, as you can clearly see, and yeah, I have added an inch, and yeah, I am pretty happy with the fit, and yeah, it is a little bit more kind of snug, which is kind of what I wanted, and also this fabric does not stretch, so I had allowed for that. And yeah, it's still a bit loose. I won't move too much in case anything really scandalous happens, but yeah, so far so good. Yeah, gonna have to make sure I cross absolutely everything so nothing goes wrong. Righto, so off camera I just serged the raw edges, and yeah, I did not do that before I constructed the pieces together, so it was a little bit tricky. However, I have serged the lining pieces before I stitched them together to make life a little bit easier. Okay, so both bodices now are complete, and yeah, being stitched together. So this is the outer one, and there's the lining one there. So the next little I say, actually, maybe it's going to be a bit of a big job, is now to install some binding, which I have here, and got me from William G, and I think that was the first time that I have purchased from them. And yeah, you can see the binding there, and yeah, it can be stitched on or in. So yeah, wish me luck with that, guys. Yeah, so I have just placed the binding, I've measured it, and I have rounded off the sharp edges, and then also put a little bit of sticky scotch tape over, just pinned it there just so I'm holding it. And yeah, this is kind of like the first time that I'm actually going to stitch this binding, and to be fair, I'm absolutely a little bit kind of apprehensive. I just hope it does not damage my vintage machine, because yeah, although my machine's very robust and very strong and stitches pretty much through everything, there's always going to become a time where one time it may not stitch, and yeah, I do not want to damage my machine because this is the only one that I have. Oh, wish me luck, guys. Oh my goodness, off camera I just took a couple stitches. It feels really strange, and I have used binding before. I used different binding, I've used steels, and yeah, this is a little bit different for me, and yeah, I'm going to give the machine stitching a go because I really do not like the prospect of hand stitching this. However, if I need to, then I will. Yeah, just do a couple stitches. There we go. So far so good. Okay, so they are all installed. That was an experience, and yeah, I lucked out because guess what? Literally on the last stitch, I managed to do the last stitches, and then as you pull your thread out, by doing that, guess what ran out? Yep, that's right, my bobbin. So I need to put a new one in. So I already had one threaded up ready, so that's good to go. So yeah, these are the bindings now have all been installed, and just going to do another fitting. Next up I have what is called the neck drape pattern piece here, and yeah, I'm just going to cut that out with this white chiffon, and yeah, that's going to be double layered, and yeah, so that's kind of where I am at now with that. I have just pinned the bodies onto the mannequin, and now I am just kind of playing around and pinning the chiffon along the front, and I have put in some gathering stitches because this is all going to be kind of bunched up, and then it will create kind of like gathering, which is a bit of a front detail on the dress, and then it also goes around the back. Yeah, so I've just quickly pinned that just so I can kind of have a bit of a play around. And this loose part here, it says kind of you can use elastic and make a channel, and then it would be part of the shoulder. I might just gather that separately and then put some ribbon across, so then it's a little bit more structured, and like I said previously about kind of being a bit more secure, because the last thing I want is anything kind of falling down and being scandalous. So yeah, that's probably my preferred way to go. But yeah, this is kind of where I am at so far, and yeah, it kind of looks a bit really ugly right now, and it's 15:37 p.m. in the Arvo, and yeah, so that's it really. So I'm just going to keep playing around, and yeah, then get back to you guys. Okay, so right now I have pinned the lining to the outer, and also I have run a basting stitch all the way just to kind of attach the chiffon to the main outer fabric, just to kind of hold that in place so it does not slip, and it's within the seam allowance. So when I go and stitch the lining bodies to the main outer bodies, then obviously that won't move around, so that's all secure. So yeah, that is where I am at right now on that, and I am crossing absolutely everything that I hope that I have kind of constructed this so far. I have not bothered to look at the instructions. I kind of just a pictorial, so kind of a visual learner, look at the photo, and I have made enough bodices. I know this one has a lot more construction with the boning and everything like that. However, you know, the bare bones, no pun intended, but the bare bones of kind of most bodices are similar or the same. It's just there's more steps on things like this. So I got about 3/4 all the way sewing the lining bodice to the main bodice, and my sewing machine needle decided to break, and yeah, I only got that little bit left to stitch. It happens. Righto, so I have just flipped it around, and as you can see, the lining now is in the inside. Also, you can see that this fabric, yeah, really likes to fray. So what I need now do is pull on the stitching there, and then it will gather the other side and the other side as well, and also the same for the back as well. And yeah, I just need to put my gathering stitches in there, and then that will get gathered up. And yeah, all I need to also kind of figure out, because I basted the chiffon on, you know what I mean, the armscye area, I am going to have to kind of put it wrong sides together again, and maybe go up from the inside and hand stitch around the armscye, or maybe just fold down like that, and maybe do my best to do a few hidden stitches, or just hold it like that and then again just put it right sides together and then stitch it, but that will have to be on the, not on the machine. Sorry, my words are just not on the machine sewing, hand sewing. Oh goodness guys, it's a long day, and I've got things on my mind, so bear with me. So yeah, you are now looking at the inside with the boning and everything like that. I'm pretty pleased how that has all come out. And it's funny, isn't it? The needle breaks in a place where there was no really any reason for it to break, and I kind of thought that it might actually break when I was inserting the boning, but no, it's decided to do it on something soft. Okay, so I have just put this on the mannequin, and I have just pulled the threads in one side, pulled a little bit tighter than the other side. No worries there, because I just sort that out, and yeah, that's okay. And just turn it around, and then I'll just put a pin here, so this will be where the shoulder is, and then there is another pin there, and that will also be gathered up, and then somehow I'll attach that to the ribbon that I'm going to have across the shoulder. And then the back here, all I need to do is just put in those stitches and then pull that up both sides, and then hopefully that will be good to go. Okay, so I have just been playing around and doing my best to make a chiffon rose, and yeah, it's okay. It's not quite what I was hoping, and yeah, if I put it on the front there, you get the idea. It's just, yeah, that's still not how I kind of envisioned, but I'm getting there. Okay, so it is another day, and it's a really warm sunny day, and it's Sunday, September 25th. It is in the Arvo, 1:24 p.m. Righty-ho, so you can see in front of you a fabric rose, and yes, there is a needle sticking out the middle because I am going to put a couple pearls, or maybe just one single pearl in the middle, and that is from this necklace, and it was only $3.50, and it was thrifted, and there are a whole bunch of pearls, and they're kind of the size that I was after. And when I was looking crafting stores, jewelry stores, all sorts of stores to go and get pearls, they were way expensive. They were the wrong size, they're a little bit tacky and daggy, and it's like, no, just go for something vintage, then you know it's kind of genuine. And so that is what you are seeing here, and they're really pretty. And this is what I am going to kind of deconstruct and use these all over the elements of my gown. Okay, so we have all these little pearls, and it's always a bit nerve-wracking when you kind of do the first snip. They go everywhere. And we have the second snip. There they all go. Okay, so I have stitched one singular pearl in the centre there, and yeah, probably would get a little bit lost with all kind of the fabric petals, but I think that's okay. Okay, so we have left off in the sense that one of the roses has now all been hand stitched, and yeah, these pretty little things actually take a whole bunch of time, and you would think, nah, no way. Yeah, they do. They really do. And yeah, and also I've just noticed, you cannot see my little pearl, so I'm going to have to probably make a couple tweaks to that. I was actually kind of hoping that this would have more of a taut pull on kind of the detailing there. I'm going to come back a little bit. You see what I mean? It kind of looks, I don't know, a little bit limp. Maybe it will look a little bit different when I'm wearing it as opposed to it currently being on the mannequin. And I have now pulled in with the stitches, and then there'll be another rose on that shoulder, the other shoulder, and probably on the back at the top. Okay, so it is another day and you are looking at another fabric rose. So I have now made 4. 3 are on the gown so far. We have one there. They are literally just pinned on, with the exception of the one that you already saw on the front, which I have hand stitched. Yeah, I can see a lot of hand stitching in my future. And yeah, there's the third one, which, like I just said, is pinned on. And yeah, when I do another fitting, just kind of then configure if I need it reconfigured, just the placement. But I think, to be fair, where the gathering was on the chiffon, and I've centered the roses, it should hopefully be centered enough that I should not have to then reconfigure and get the balance right. And I am now going to concentrate on start constructing some of the skirt part of the gown. And yeah, I have this knitting, and I got this a little while ago now, and that was when I was in Goldhawk Road. And yeah, so I actually managed to pick me up more than I thought I did initially. I think it's just because I got a lot going on and trying to think and configure things, and for whatever reason my brain suddenly decided to scramble. Oh no, actually you've got less. No, I actually have more than probably than what I need. However, that's a good thing because you just never know. Okay, so I have stitched the knitting near to secure it, and obviously made pleats, and next will be the stay tape. I am going to attach that so there's plenty of security, because after all this hard yakka, I do not want any unfortunate accidents or whatever, or something going wrong. Okay, so as you can see on the ironing board, I have, just off camera, cut out kind of a half oval shape, and yeah, going to give me a go at a bustle pad. I have not made one of these for a whole bunch of time, and as I'm all for recycling, in here I have some stuffing which was originally from an old pillow, and yes, it is clean and hygienic. So I am now going to pad out the bustle. Righto, so I have just taken it out of its cover, and luckily this actually just kind of peels away, which is really good, instead of having it in kind of like little itty bitty pieces. And yeah, so I'm going to just carefully peel this off and then put that inside, and probably just put a couple of little basting stitches in just to kind of secure it, or maybe pins, and then kind of just reconfigure how much poof I need in the bustle pad. Here we go, yet another day. It is currently Tuesday, September 27th, and it's the arvo, and I'm now literally just starting these bustle pads. So yeah, I have just played around, and as you can clearly see, just pin them together just so I kind of have a bit of a rough gauge as to size and everything like that, and how much kind of poof that I will get out the back. So yeah, that's where I'm at now. I'm just going to take all the pins out, obviously sew them right size together, and then unfold and then insert the batting and everything like that, so it's all neat. Okay, so both those bustle pads have now been stitched together, as you can see, and then I just folded those in and ran stitches all along the top there, as it was easier to insert the batting. And yeah, kind of put all those together now. Going to stitch the other one to the other one. Also, I have just installed a couple of little extra strips, ties if you like, onto the skirt waist area for the knitting. And yeah, so I just untie that to kind of get the general idea, and then they can kind of cross over, well, the fabric crosses over, and then that way they are secure. I hope that makes sense, guys. So I have just installed some extra boning, and that is crosswise, and simply being because obviously I want extra structure. And yeah, my beautiful TE helped me with that. And yeah, I just moved out to the conservatory right now because I need the table, so then the skirt part can kind of lay across, as opposed to doing it stood up on my cutting sewing table. No, not me standing actually on the table, standing on the floor. Anyway, yeah, sorry guys, you know what I mean. So yeah, it's kind of like an extra helping hand arm. So I've put the sewing machine there, so to the left, obviously, or the drape of the skirt can be supported by the table, so it does not droop off. Okay, so the sewing is complete, and yeah, it can almost support itself. It's that rigid, so yeah, I'm just holding one side of it, but the rest of it, it's kind of doing it itself. So yeah, now all that is complete. The next part now is the real fabric in the satin. Okay, so sometimes you just have to improvise, and yeah, one of the old kitty scratches that has not been destroyed is going to kind of help as a helping arm. And yeah, then the fabric goes onto the table, and then I can sit and sew. And today I'm finding it incredibly hard to sew and get things ready, because just having a really bad day. Okay, so I am now currently pleating all the fabric, and like I have said previously, I am just doing it in one continuum of fabric because I do not want any seams ideally. I'm hoping by crossing everything that will kind of remain the same, and then it can be seamless. Haha. I know, I'm strange, guys. Even strange thinks I'm strange. So yeah, this is where I am right now, and yeah, I am going to do pleats in one direction for a certain amount of length and then make the pleat go in the opposite direction. I have allowed for extra fabric at the end in case I need to adjust by either adding, because obviously where you change the direction of the pleat, that has to be centered on the front. So yeah, wish me luck, guys. Always scary doing that part. Okay, so this is how it looks on the mannequin. I have just pinned the back here, and yeah, just slowly come round to the front, and yeah, there's my front piece there. Just come out slightly so you guys can kind of see where I'm going with this, and yeah, kind of self-explanatory. Okay, so you are now looking at the lining of the bodice, and with the stay tape, kind of just going to measure where I'm going to put this, align this, and yeah, that's kind of where I'm at now on that. Right, so it is Thursday, September 29th, and it's really late in the hour. It's 15:53 p.m. and yeah, I am currently hand stitching bias tape to both the arm sides. I have done the other side, and I have just started this side. So then that won't take too long, and yeah, I did not really want to come on yesterday because I was in hospital for most of the day, and yeah, not great, so I'm not going to go into that. So now I'm kind of a day behind, and yeah, kind of really need to pull my needle out and get this gown completed and kind of next to me. A couple of days ago I actually did the waistband and also added the chiffon and made sure that it's all been stitched in correctly, and there are 2 hook and bars on the back. So there is 1 hook and bar and another one there. Obviously that is the bar, and that is the hook for that one. The bar there, and the hook is hiding there. So yeah, getting there slowly, and yeah, I got a lot on my mind, so it's kind of a bit bittersweet at the moment, kind of carrying on with this dress. Righto, so it is currently Friday, September 30th, and yeah, tomorrow is Saturday, so I had better get my gown finished today. You are currently looking at the back of the corset or bodice, and I have put an extra panel on there. I made ties last night, and This is going to be the scary part. I've now got to make some holes, and then they will get passed through, and then kind of a crisscross, and then just get tied along the bottom. Oh yes, and I also have to hand stitch the bias tape there on the hem. I have completed all that along the arm side there, both sides, and yeah, so hopefully once I have done the ties, the hand stitching, all I then need to do is run some stitches along there, and then I'm going to gather that up, possibly put another rose there. I may not, it might be too much and then the balance will be off, because I currently have 3 right now. So yeah, I have obviously the 2 shoulder ones, that's the front centre, but I may do kind of balance it up by having 4, but it's deciding kind of how that will be placed. I may just place it there instead of on the ends both sides here, because yeah, it just would not work. So yeah, that's kind of where I am at with all that, and then I have to decorate my skirt. Okay, so 2 scary holes down and a few more to go. So yeah, I will hand stitch these holes if I have time. If not, I'm just going to kind of have to leave as is, and then they will just get crossed over like that, the ties, and then that will follow all the way down. Oh, seriously guys, putting holes in the garment, kind of, yeah, at this stage I'm like, oh, I'm literally sweating. Okay guys, guess what? I'm so glad that this is on the inside. Yep, not only sweat, but there's also blood. And yeah, whilst making the holes, you can kind of see, oh, it's not going to focus, is it? There we go. It's so teeny tiny, but yeah, it is definitely producing a little bit of blood. So yes, I'm not going to bother with a band-aid. However, I am just going to have to just be mindful that no more spots go onto my fabric. Now, if you do not want to be grossed out, then please close your ears or skip a few seconds. To get blood out, whether it's fresh or a little bit older, all you need to do is just moisten your finger from your saliva and dub it on, and it will come out, and I will show you. Okay, so I have just got my finger a little bit wet with saliva, and you can see already it is starting to come out. Magic. There you go, look at that. I'll get a paper towel and yeah, there you go, look at that, disappearing. And also, because this is double layered, luckily it's not come through. And look at that guys, it's absolute magic. So all I need now to do is just wait for the little damp patch to dry. Okay, so we have 12 holes all complete, and I'm going to have to hand stitch them another time. And yeah, so there's the crisscross motion there, so pretty pleased with that. If I'm finished with everything else and then I have time, then I will go in and stitch them before I go. But right now that is not my priority. And I have just literally finished completing all the hand stitching along the bias at the bottom there. Okay, so currently in the conservatory, for more light, and because yeah, just had to get TE to help me get my gown on the table so I have height. And yeah, now I'm kind of at the stage where I am going to do some decoration. And look, the mannequin is touching the roof, the glass roof there. So yeah, I had to pull the table out because it's a sloping roof for obvious reasons. So then rain and everything can kind of drain off. So yeah, so what it is, sporadically going to gather up some of the fabrics, singular, fabric, create some hand stitches to obviously hold all the gathers, and then either roses or something else is going to go on there, and then you would go there and then obviously leave a bit of a space, then another one, a little bit of space, another one. You get the idea, guys. So, and keeping you in company is the wonderful Mishu from Mishu Makes, and she's absolutely wonderful. And yeah, anybody that you do notice, I will obviously put in the links below. So it is bang on 1700 hours, and it's Friday, September 30th. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Ta-da! So I purchased some feathers a few weeks ago now, and yeah, white peacock feathers, and they are exquisite. And I am going to decorate my dress with these, and they're real, and they're from a wonderful lady, and you will find her link below in the show notes. And yeah, these are naturally dropping off bird feathers, and then the lady collects them up. She kind of uses feathers and things in all the floristry and everything. And yeah, she's UK based, and they are just so exquisite, and just the story of the birds is just so wonderful. They each have names, they're her pets, she's had them for a whole bunch of years, and yeah, it's really, really wonderful. Obviously, if you go to her site, you can read up a whole bunch more about her peacocks, and not just albino ones. She has the regular coloured ones, which are kind of aqua bluey, greeny, you know, the regular peacocks.